Alrighty guys, today we're going to be doing an oil change on my 204 C63 with the M156 motor. This process will be pretty much the same for all 156 cars from the C63 all the way to the ML63. Pretty much the exact same thing. Only difference maybe in terms of taking off the bottom pan, belly pan to get access to the drain plug. But let's get started. Alright, so first off we're going to take off this front cover right here. Basically just pull up on like this. It'll come right off. Just be careful not to break it is all. Just a little bit of a persuasion, it'll come right off. Once we have that off here, we can see a few things. We've got the power steering reservoir right here for the power steering fluid. We've got the oil filter housing. We've got the oil fill cap right here. We're really going to be only focusing on these two things right here. So first things first, we're going to take off this oil filter housing cap. But first of all, we got to get some rags, just put them around this area, make sure no oil spills out. So for this oil change, you need a new oil filter for the 156 motor, and a new crush washer for your drain plug. 9 liters of 5W40 oil. I just use multiple and then at 156 and 159, and then also an oil pan just to get your old oil out. Alright, to get the old oil filter out, we're going to need a 32mm socket or a crescent wrench, whatever you can use to kind of get this guy off. But we're just going to take this off with this. Should be very tight, should be pretty easy to come off. And then we're going to get the oil filter and put it in this old tub over here. Alright, so currently the camera's facing the front of the car, but under a C63 there are 3 main panels. There's this one over here that touches the bumper, there's this one over here, and there's one behind it that kind of is next to the catalytic converters, as you can see over here. So here's the bottom of the oil pan, and the drain plug is actually right here, as you can see that. So we're going to undo that and let all the fluid out into the pan we have on the ground over here, and let it pretty much drain for as long as we need to. Just be careful about spilling oil. If you ever done an oil change of the car before, it can get kind of messy if the pan isn't aimed right. So, we're going to get this one off. I'll tell you guys what size it is in a minute, and be sure to have a new crush washer. It should come with your oil filter. If not, just make sure you order it at some point. And you should be all set to plug it back up, torque it down, and put the new oil in. So, we're going to get the old oil out right now. Alright, so we got the old oil flowing out, which is looking pretty good. Not too much spillage, which is nice for a change. If you guys watch my N54 oil change video, you'll know it's a bit of a spill, but this is going much better. So we're just going to let this flow out for as long as it needs to, and I'll be back with the new oil. Also, one more thing, just be careful not to drop your oil drain plug into the big vat of oil, as that's going to be a very big pain to get out and kind of reach for, so just be aware of that. Also, make sure your car is pretty cold. You don't want hot oil. All I did is turn the car around, so this car is still pretty cold. There's nothing really to talk about down here. So this should be about 9 liters coming out of here. And after that, we're going to put the drain plug back on with a new crush washer, torque it down to spec, which I'll tell you in a moment, and we'll be all set. Alrighty, so I've got this oil filter over here, bought it straight from Mercedes, the dealership. Kind of had a lack of time. Anyways, so I got this at my local dealership. It's pretty available. 156 motor, so and I got the crush washer there as well, but unfortunately it cost me like 22 bucks. Now, if time was not an issue, I would have just gotten it from FCP Europe for like 6 bucks. Literally 6 bucks, so but this car is already at 5,000 miles, so I wanted to change out the oil before it was too late. I couldn't drive the car. So but yeah, I typically do 5K interval changes on this car. However, some people do less. Some people even do 10, which is ridiculous. 10K oil changes on the 156 is just not chill. This thing is basically a race motor, so I say at the most do 5. This car isn't driven very much, so I usually do 5K. However, I may start doing 4K from now on, just to kind of maintain the life of the engine. It's probably overkill, but so what do we gotta do? Also, one more tip is that you should definitely take off this oil fill cap, just kind of reduce the vacuum in the engine block, just get all the oil out. Speaking of which, I think it's pretty much, barely coming out. So I'm going to let it come out a little bit more, and then I will put the plug on, 22 foot-pounds of torque. Just got the new drain plug back on with the new crush washer, so it's time to put the new oil filter in. So we got the old cap somewhere around here. Oh, it's right here actually. And so we're going to put this end with the little tabs in the cap itself. We're just going to screw it in back on this cartridge, just like before. Pretty much just snug it up to 25 Newton meters. But as long as it's pretty much snug with a new O-ring, you'll be all set. And the O-ring should just come with the filter itself. Here it is. we're going to take off the old one over here with a pick tool, as you can see there. Kind of put some of the old oil on this guy right here, the oil ring, and it'll be all set to go and be snugged up 25 foot-pounds in the housing. Yeah, already the new oil filter is now in the 156. Now we should put in 9 liters of oil. So I've got 10 liters here, bought them on Amazon. It's just the 8100 series model 5W40. Although people put liquid moly in these things, and Mobil is also great, Formula M. It's actually what I had in here previously. But we'll be using Motul this time to see how it is. Heard great things about it. My mechanic actually recommended Motul, so we're going to be using that today. So, just kind of keep track. If you have 2 big 5 liters over here like I do, just keep track you're not putting all of it in, obviously. It actually was cheaper to buy 2 5 liters instead of buying 1 5 liter and 4 1 liter containers. So it also is probably less waste. So we're going to be doing that. So just going to fill it up to the fill neck on the right side over here. And then we should be good to go. Going to give it a nice start afterwards, and just to make sure there's no leaks down below at the plug. So I'm going to get started in filling up the car. Alrighty guys, I've got the all 9 liters put inside this motor. We've got, as you can see, 1 liter left in this 5 liter container, which I think did a pretty good job at getting pretty accurate too. So before I put everything back together, well, I've got the caps on obviously. I'm going to start the car real quick, just to kind of warm it up, make sure that there's no leaks anywhere, and then we're all set and good to go. Let's see here. It's looking good. Don't see any issues so far. No leaks anywhere. This is all good over here. No leaks over here. The drain plug was pretty clean from below. Let's take another look real quick. Yeah, we're all set. We're good to go. All we gotta do now is put that undercarriage back on the car, and then we're pretty much done with this oil change. Alrighty guys, it basically sums up this video on how to do an oil change on the 156 motor. This could vary between models, between, for example, C, E, and S, and ML and SL and all that, but the basic procedures are the same. The only part that may differ is taking off the underbellies, in terms of bolt size and just what you need to take off. But this is pretty standard for the C63. But you guys should be using 5W40 no matter which car you're using. I believe all the oil pans have the same capacity of 9 liters. And it is pretty normal for these cars to burn oil, so you just gotta refill them every once in a while, just check the dipstick. And the previous spec for Mercedes oil for these cars was 0W40, which I actually have right here. However, if you use this oil, you probably find you have a lot of lifter ticking noises, which not ideal, so 5W40 is a bit thicker. It's better for these cars. So I used to use Formula M, but I'm using Motul now, as I've said before. In my 335, I use liquid moly 5W40, which you can actually use as well in this car, but I just chose to use what I got over here. So, it really is up to you guys, but as long as you're using 5W40 and it has the 229, I believe, or 229.5 spec, MB spec, you should be good to go. So that's it for this video. I want to do more work on this car in the future, so expect some more videos soon. Yeah, also some more 335 content coming, and hopefully some S-Less content as well. So that's it for this video, and see you guys later.